bit more running rugby, but yeah, the boys will favour themselves today.
Maurice, Ulster have been winning recently. They haven't been shining recently. Do you think they can afford to play so poorly today against a talented Scarlets team?
It's always a good talent to have, play poorly and still win. They've taken 22 points from their last 6 games, which is very good. The Scarlets, on the other hand, haven't won away from home since December. So, as Stephen says, the opportunity's there for Ulster to win. Although, having spoken to Stevie Jones and Darren Hayward, they're quite confident. The Scarlets are quite confident they can come here and turn Ulster over.
Yeah, started the season very well, of course. Roger Wilson, big day for him, 200th appearance. You packed down alongside him many times. It's a special landmark.
Yeah, it is. What a great player. I feel sorry for him slightly because he didn't fulfil his international career probably like he would have. But in saying that, 200 caps for your province is unbelievable. Many caps that he have for Northampton as well. He's an absolute veteran. But he's still trucking on for Ulster. He's still putting in performances, and I expect a massive performance here today, and the whole crowd will be getting behind him.
And Paddy Jackson, skipper for the afternoon?
Yeah, that's a bit of an interesting choice. Paddy has all the potential to be a future skipper. I would have thought maybe Chrissy Henry, the mould, probably would have been maybe a better choice for this sort of game. That puts a lot of pressure on Paddy Jackson. And given the fact that there's been quite a lot of media hype about his non-inclusion within the Irish squad this week, I think Paddy's possibly putting a wee bit of more pressure on top of himself. I just hope it doesn't affect his game too much.
Yeah, and with a win today, Stephen, it does really start to put Ulster in a pretty confident position getting into the tail end of the season.
It really does. They just need to keep the momentum going. They're playing okay, but if they save their 80-minute performance for the final, then happy days. That's what I'll be wanting. But they're playing okay. They'll be looking for a better performance today. If they get a better performance, then hopefully it'll be another 4 or 5 pointers team.
Okay, the teams are on their way. We will be hearing from Ulster's double centurion Roger Wilson at half-time. But first, sit back and enjoy the first half in the company of former Ireland coach Eddie O'Sullivan and Jim Neely.
Well, a warm Sunday afternoon. It's a little bit chilly Sunday afternoon, but it's a warm welcome to what looks like being a pretty packed Kingspan Stadium. There, the Scarlet side, no changes up front from a week ago. 2 fairly experienced men in the front row, Phil Johns and Peter Edwards, and just the 1 cap player, blindside flanker Aaron Shingler. New second row forward from South Africa, David Bulbring, plays his second game. Only changes are half-backs. The 2 Allens come in, Alan Davis and Alan Thomas. Plenty of pace out in the wings with Van der Merwe and Owen, and vastly experienced Regan King in the middle of the park alongside the skipper Hadley Parks. It's been the 2 since the 2008-2009 season that the Carnethy Scarlets did the home and away double over this Ulster side. But it's going to be all eyes on the tunnel and all eyes on this fella, Roger Wilson, looking slightly embarrassed. A tough man on the field, a modest man off the field. What a milestone, 117 appearances for the Northampton Saints, but this is 200 for his beloved Ulster, followed in the footsteps of his grandfather Harry McKibben, his great uncle Des, and his cousins Harry Jr. and Alistair in playing for Ireland. And as Stephen Ferris mentioned, 1 single Irish appearance away back in 2005 against Japan. Scarce reward for what has been a remarkable career. He really is the man of steel as far as Ulster's been concerned down the years. Paddy Jackson hasn't captained the side since his last year at Methodist College. A number of changes. Ulster have made 4 changes up front. Andrew Warwick and John Andrew comes in to start his first ever game, and 2 changes in the back row see Roger Wilson return and Chris Henry start this time, and it's an all-international back row with Dyack, Wilson and Henry. And behind the scrum, Paul Marshall is in from the start, likewise Paddy Jackson. But it's a pretty decent looking 3-quarter line with Luke Marshall coming in to replace Stuart McCluskey. And watch out once again for the fast improving Jacob Stockdale on the left wing. The referee is the man who did the Ulster Treviso game 3 weeks ago in Italy, refereeing his 41st Pro 12 game, and he's from Wales, and he's Ian Davis.
Okay, fine.
And Ulster attacking the War Memorial end here at this ground. A little bit of a hesitation there while the officials get their communications right. So it's Ulster's captain, Paddy Jackson, gets us underway on this Sunday afternoon. And taken in straight away by big Morgan Allen, who scored a corker of a try last weekend. Alan Davis, the scrum half, released by the Welsh management from the Six Nations squad. And there's Wilson. Gets away from DTH Van der Merwe. Paul Marshall. Andrew Warwick back in the starting lineup. Marshall again. Little switch to Stuart Olding. Not a lot of room for Olding to show that dainty footwork of his. Marshall again. Taken on by Robbie Dagg. Gets across the halfway line. Jackson. Nice flat pass. Good hard drive forward by Ulster. Inside the half. Jackson back inside to Luke Marshall. Hasn't played for a couple of weeks. Looks like he's never been away thus far. Chris Henry hoping to stake a claim for a place in the Six Nations squad before the end of the season. Good tackling there by the Scarlets, and they've held the ball up, and that was good defence from the men from West Wales. And a warm welcome to King's Band, Eddie O'Sullivan.
Afternoon, Jim. Yeah, it's just watching the flow of the game there. The Welsh boys clearly look really solid in defence, very balanced, no pressure on them. Ulster testing a bit of shadow boxing as there always is at the start of the game, and I'm not sure yet how effective the wind is in terms of trying to kick contestables, but certainly clearly look comfortable here. First scrum of the day though, Jim, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully they're clean and we can get a bit of a game out of this.
Well, the Scarlets first three front row forwards all the way with Wales, but there's not much difference between them in terms of weight. A pound a man is the advantage being enjoyed by the Scarlets forward pack.
Bind!
Alan Davis, the 23-year-old. Morgan Allen not getting down perhaps quickly enough.
Just give him an opportunity to bind, please, okay?
Two seriously big, beefy prop forwards, the Scarlets. Phil John, fast approaching 300 appearances for his beloved Scarlets. And Peter Edwards, who's actually older at 35 years of age on the loose head side.
Sit the standard. Crouch. Bind.
Scarlets have brought
Set.
four of their backs onto this, the near side, their left. It's not a bad Ulster squeeze on the Scarlet scrum. Allen, well disrupted by Paul Marshall, who's half the size, and Dak is there to help, and Allen's done well though. Taken on by Shingler into Phil John, takes it up to halfway. Edwards is there to help. Alan Davis looking for a runner, gets it in the shape of open side. Will Boyd, new to the Scarlet side this year. Davis with the kick. That's going to hang in the breeze, which is favouring Ulster. Well taken in by Craig Gilroy. Terrific piece of work by the Ulster left wing. Marshall, Andrew Warwick had to check a little bit to take the pass. Now Marshall again. Jackson, Stuart Olding gets inside his man. It was the Scarlet skipper Hadley Parks. Jackson into a wee bit of space. That's gathered in well by Collins. Infield now to Alan Thomas. Referee having a good look, but it's back cleanly on the Scarlet side. Vastly experienced Regan King. Boyd gets it away nicely. This is Gareth Owen, Welsh Sevens player. Serious amount of pace as well. And again, the Scarlets win it. Ulster have hardly got their paws on the ball. Peter Edwards taken down inside the Ulster half. A lot of red and yellow shirts out here. Oh, Park steps back inside. Bad miss by Darren Cave. It's going to be a try for Michael Collins. What a start by the Scarlets. One missed tackle in the middle of the field, and the Scarlets have punished Ulster.
Yeah, unfortunate, Jim. I mean, the Scarlets showed a bit of patience there. There wasn't much on. They came back to the left-hand side, and also were a little bit short on numbers, and pushed too hard, and a missed tackle on the inside by Darren Cave, and there it was, you know, the line break. And I think the problem there for Darren was he was trying to push out because he knew the numbers were short, but it was a great line break, and they're not going to miss chances like this, 2-on-1, and so running really.
Well, Wayne Pivac, the Scarlets coach, will be very pleased because it was very, very well engineered. All of a sudden, there was a 4 or 5 man overlap.
Yeah, it was a numbers thing, you know. Ulster just probably got caught not wrapping around quickly enough, and once they're short like that, they're going to have to turn and push, and unfortunately, when you turn and push too hard, you can get caught on the inside shoulder, and that's exactly what happened there, and that caused the line break.
Alan Thomas, who kicked the crucial points to give the Scarlets the win last week over Edinburgh. Respectful silence as ever, and he's just hooked that one. Well, it could have been a lot worse, but Ulster find themselves 5 points adrift to a very, very well taken try.
Well, it worked try, but it's kind of a defensive error you don't expect, you know. And it was a numbers thing that led to the missed tackle. But as I said, it's early in the game. If you're going to make a mistake, this is the time to make it.
Ulster with a slight advantage in terms of the wind behind them. Jackson switches direction, taken in by the bewhiskered Owen. Luke Marshall makes the tackle. Aaron Shinger there very quickly to help the scrum half. And here come the Scarlets again. Well, they're showing great adventure. Regan King. There's that dummy. John Andrew tries to take on the try scorer, Michael Collins. Seem to have gone forward. Referee waiting for advantage, and Ulster will get the scrummage.
Yeah, they're lucky there, Jim. I mean, again, they're copper numbers on the outside. Defence just a bit tight around the rucks, and when those 2 long passes get outside the defence, then everyone's got to push soft. And luckily for Ulster, they actually knocked the ball on there, and they got a bit of an over jail card.
Well, I remember my school rugby playing days. We had an old coach called W.W.L. Taylor who always said, stick to the adage, make the ball do the work.
For change.
Certainly, Clonetly have figured that out early again. You know, they're getting good width on their game. Ulster need to just be more aware of their spacing around the rock. And Clonetly have spotted that space out wide, and they're going to go after as long as they get it. 7
minutes gone, just about. Once again, another solid-looking Ulster scrummage coming up a little bit. Marshall to Gilroy. Has a little go himself. Well tackled though by Alan Thomas. Marshall again. Robbie Dyack. Front football now for Marshall. Olding. Better stuff. Wilson. Nicely done inside to Jacob Stockdale. Big fella read that cleverly. Marshall again. Jackson for a bit of territory. That's a good kick. Van der Merwe has to go all the way back.
Great kick by Jackson, and I think, you know, at the moment might be no harm for Ulster. A little bit more of that, keep Clonetly pinned back in their 22. If they've got the wind advantage, you need to use it. But again, the Clonetly defence comfortable there, Jim. Almost a line break from a little wrinkle, but really, if you look at the shape of both defences at the moment, Clonetly are the team that are most comfortable in their skin.
Kirby Myhill, a member of the Welsh Junior World Cup squad a couple of years ago, that got to the 3rd place position. Back quickly from Shingler, taken on by Morgan Allen, who runs into Franco van der Merwe. Pretty efficient stuff at the breakdown by the Scarlets. Oh, well kept in by Gilroy. Now to Wilson. He is holding with him. Marshall, Jackson. A bit telegraphed, and unfortunately Craig Gilroy's run into the enormous Dave Bulbring, the 23-year-old from Port Elizabeth, a new signing. Knocked forward. Now, was that deliberate on the part of Van der Merwe? The referee didn't see it, but now he's got the hand out.
Yes or no? That's okay. Penalty advantage, white.
He's playing advantage for the deliberate knock forward, and it was his touch judge in the near side who actually indicated to Ian Davis, who missed it.
Well, yeah, I think it looks at the moment, Jim, that referees are automatically calling those bat downs a knock on or a penalty. I'm not sure Van der Merwe was actually trying to knock down. His hand was up, but the ball went down. So I think where we're going with this is that if you don't get the interceptor, it doesn't pop up, you're liable to be a penalty. And it gives Ulster great beachhead position here. Probably they weren't going to get without the penalty, because again, Clonetly looked very comfortable on defence.
Terrific crowd here at Ravenhill yet again. They've been averaging about 15,000 per game this season, which is quite fantastic. And the singing breaks out. John Andrews starting his very first game. Good throw and good take by Franco van der Merwe. Now, did the Scarlets collapse that? Referee doesn't seem to think so. It's tucked in there. Oh, Marshall.
Unfortunate there, Jim. It was good defence by Clonetly again on the maul. They sacked the jumper and got straight in under it. But unfortunately, to do that, they collapsed the defence. Marshall spotted it, but unfortunately knocked the ball on, took his eye off it at a crucial moment. And possibly an exit strategy here for Clonetly. That's probably a cheap one, and from Munster's point of view.
Yeah, just a little bit of a snatch there by Ulster scrum half. Paul Marshall has given
Short.
Scarlets the scrummage. There's going to be a bit of a stoppage, and it looks as if Peter Edwards
the Scarlets tight end.
is going to get himself a new pair of shorts.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks, Bob. Cheers.
Well, they've asked for a new pair of shorts, and they just have to get on with it until they're brought on. Maybe they don't have the prerequisite size. Can't remember the last time I saw anybody having their shorts
The belly's
changed.
too big, eh? Just waiting for a pair of shorts, okay, for tight end.
So of course the problem here, Jim, is that they don't want to scrummage with shorts that are kind of hanging off them, because binds can slip and stuff, and there are penalties for those things. They depend on their kit sometimes to keep in the bind to keep them up. So that's why he's so anxious to get a change of shorts.
Yeah, I somehow don't think Peter Edwards has a serious career on the catwalk, do you?
No, I think he's probably better off staying where he is in the day job. I think he enjoyed that though.
Yeah, the crowd are certainly enjoying it, as Scarlet's teammates on the bench are enjoying that as well.
Seconds
Well, a
down.
nice little vignette there. But back to the serious business and back to the scrummage following Paul Marshall's knock forward. 10.5 minutes gone. Ulster behind that well-taken Scarlets try scored by fullback Michael Collins. And by Alan Davis, also get a bit of a squeeze on. Davis. Regan King takes it wide. Look at the width the Scarlets have put in that in the space of 2 passes.
Backwards.
Knocked backwards, says the referee. Stuart Olding, that could be interesting. And into touch it goes for a Scarlets line. Well, Scarlets playing the way they started the season, Eddie. If you look back at some of their early games, they played this kind of an exuberant game of rugby.
Well, the conditions aren't too bad. It's a wee bit windy, but it's actually quite dry considering all the rain. And they seem to be happy to put some air under the ball and get into the outside channels. And to be fair, Ulster are kind of inviting them out there with their setup at the moment.
Scarlets line out. Kirby Myhill was a bit of a dummy there. No, taken by Shingler. There comes Ricky Lutton. Well,
Ball clearly formed. 3 coming around the side.
it was so obvious Ricky Lutton was light years offside there. I'm not quite sure what was going through his mind.
Not a lot, I think, because there's a definite penalty, and it gives Clonettley a very easy out here, Jim. They're into the Ulster half now. It's the Clonettley line out, and the bit of pressure Ulster almost brought there has vanished into thin air.
Yeah, you've got to take your chances. They knock on by Paul Marshall, the indiscretion by Ricky Lutton, and Ulster, from being in a very good position, are now back to almost halfway. Les Kiss will not be a happy bunny at the moment. It's Myhill. Little tap back by Earl. Here comes Regan King. Oh, lovely pass, and here they come again. Oh, one comes round from his right wing. This is Van der Merwe, the flyer. Gets past Olding and gets past Cave again. Ulster rucking well at the breakdown, but they've had a hand on the floor and they've given away another penalty.
I think it was Chris Henry got in there, but to be fair, actually, I thought he was right to have a go at the ball. The ball was sitting there when the Mayor released it, but the referee obviously felt he hadn't released, or the ruck had formed. I got to tell you, Jim, it's still a pretty grey area for everybody, and it's down to the referee.
Well, this is the repeat of the incident. Can't quite see, was there an Ulster hand in there?
I think Chris Henry was on the ball, but I think the referee felt he hadn't released, which is, in those contact areas, it's sometimes hard to follow. But certainly Clonettley here are going for the corner into that wind.
Well, they've done the first bit right. They've taken it well through David Bulbring from Port Elizabeth. Just his second game since he joined the Scarlets. Ulster making it difficult, but the Scarlets still in possession. 15 metres to go, and they're getting closer all the time. Good tackle by Robbie Dyack on the Scarlet scrum half, Alan Davis. Here comes Bulbring again. He's been quite an asset. Jake Ball has been retained by the Welsh national squad. George Earl, another South African, makes a bit of ground. Now Davis again. A try here would cause Ulster all sorts of problems. Remember, nothing less than a bonus point win will get them back to the top of the table, and it doesn't look as if they go to do it. Hadley Parks, who scored the crucial try the last time the sides met back in September. George Earl once again makes ground. Little dummy by outside half Alan Thomas. And the Scarlets playing a patient game. They're keeping possession. Ulster's defence will have to be solid. Scarlets have options on both sides. Alan Davis, Shingler just overran it a wee bit. Now it's Shingler. Has he popped it back for a scrum half? He has. And Ulster have given away another penalty. And Ian Davis
the original penalty is against
having a word with Paddy Jackson.
Okay? There's far too many offences now occurring at the breakdown. Any more and you may run the risk of losing players. Okay? 3 have to move.
Well, Ricky Lutton was the man who didn't move on the ground. Second penalty he's given away. And I'm sure at this stage the Scarlets will go for the point, Eddie.
I'm sure they will. You know, they'll be very happy at the moment. They did well when they had the ball. They held on to it well, but Ulster's defence appears really dogged. But unfortunately, again, you know, giving up the soft penalty after working that hard for 8 or 10 phases to give away a soft 3 points here. And yeah, certainly Connelly will take another score on the board into that wind. They'll just try and keep that scoreboard ticking over if they can. And you know, it's for Ulster now to come back here and try and establish some sort of pressure on Connelly.
So Thomas, who missed the area conversion of the Michael Collins try, doesn't miss from that range. And it's not looking wonderful for Ulster. We have played almost 15 minutes, and it's Ulster 0 and the Connelly Scarlets 8.
Yeah, I think Ulster really have to take stock here, Jim. If it means putting the ball in behind Connelly, so be it, but they need to spend some time in the Connelly half, and if they get possession, hold on to it. They've had really one sortie in there and they turned the ball over on 2 occasions.
Longish by Jackson, taken in by DTH van der Merwe. Tackled by Alan O'Connor from Ulster. So they can't kick directly into touch, but that's not a bad strike by Davis. Well gathered by Olding. Now where's he going? Has a go. Marshall. Jackson. Robbie Dyack gets it wide to Luke Marshall. Tried the little chip and chase, but straight into the arms.
I think maybe a weak rubber might have been the job there, Jim. He tried to go over the top and he got blocked down, but Ulster got some good width there and they put it through the hands well. And they got their, I mean, Connelly didn't wrap around quickly enough and were short on numbers. So that's what patience brings. If you're patient, you get opportunities, and Ulster need to show more patience here.
Ball was taken into touch by the Scarlets, so it's going to be an Ulster line-out. Andrew Warwick speaking to his fellow Ballymena Academy pupil, John Andrew. Well taken at the back by van der Merwe. Here comes Marshall. Jackson back inside to Stockdale, looking for his first Ulster try. Marshall again, quicker stuff by Ulster. Van der Merwe, well tackled by Bullring, who's got on the wrong side of him. Back to Paddy Jackson. It's the drop goal to nothing. And he's landed the drop goal. The penalty was coming anyway. So Ulster's skipper has hauled back 3 very precious and 3 very important points for Ulster.
A little bit of pressure, a little bit of patience, Jim, and you get good things. I'd like to have maybe seen Ulster play a few more phases there with the advantage. You never know. Maybe a kick to the corner, see what would happen. But I suppose at this point we take the 3 points and come back for more. It's exactly what Ulster needed. You know, gets them back right into the game again.
Yeah, 1 or 2 nice little passages of play there before Paddy Jackson sweetly struck drop goal. Roger Wilson. Almost makes ground.
Taken in White.
Jackson.
Taken back White.
Taken back inside the 22. You can hear referee and Davis say that. That's well covered back by Michael Collins. Gets it to his outside half, Alan Thomas. Olding, well done. Back inside to Wilson. Andrew Warwick. Good little sidestep. Franco van der Merwe, Chris Henry. Good bit of interplay by Ulster's forwards. Marshall. Now Jackson. Olding. He's been very lively. It's all a bit slow now. Taken on again by Warwick. Jackson. John Andrew, who's not slow. I thought that was a high tackle by Alan Davis, but it was fine from up here anyway. Jackson flat to Alan O'Connor. Knocked forward, and referee has said there was an advantage. to yellow, as he calls them. The Scarlets playing more in yellow than in red, and it's the Scarlet scrum. Good Scarlets defending.
Again, yeah, I think Ulster need to start looking here, Jim, after a number of phases when they're not really making those inroads. They've got to look to the corners a wee bit here, because if Connelly are defending the gain line, they can have, you know, covering the corners. So you'd like to see Ulster maybe having those prods to see what's happening, get in behind them. But if they can't get in behind them by prodding around the gain line, they need to put the ball in the corner. Because you see here, one turnover here and Connelly will hurt you. They've got a bit of pace out wide and they're ready to go. And you know, they've turned over the ball here now, and it's a scrum on the halfway line for Connelly. The only thing I can say is Ulster's been putting a wee bit of pressure on the Connelly scrum, and they need to keep that on them at the moment.
Getting a bit of attention is Phil John, who's been a Scarlet since 1999. Made more Pro 12 appearances than anybody, 188 league appearances and 2 more Scarlet appearances, and he will reach the 300 milestone. But when Roger Wilson adds his 200 for Ulster and 117 for the Saints, he's still in the lead.
Yeah, I said to Chris earlier, just take the 50-50 out of it now, okay? Especially in the 22.
I hope you aren't giving that little girl a sip of your beer.
Scrum, yeah.
Chris Henry having a word with his forwards. Paddy Jackson, as the skipper, having a word with the team in general.
Yellow ball.
Well, after a very miserable night with constant rain, it's not a bad afternoon here. And if one was going to be honest, the only bad bit of the pitch is actually not on the pitch itself. It's just where the players come out. So the playing surface is fine.
Bind, set, and hold.
Solid Scarlet scrummage, controlled at the back by Alan Davis. Oh, that's nicely done, Van der Merwe. And away goes Regan King. Paul Marshall makes the tackle, and Scarlets really punishing Ulster with their slick handling. Plenty of men out wide. Here's the flanker, Will Boyd. Tackle! Inside the Ulster 22, Davis. Hadley Parks, the captain. Alan Thomas steps back inside. Davis looking for a runner. Gets it in the form of Phil John, who seems to have recovered miraculously. Davis again. Back inside to Van der Merwe. So can't afford to give him any room. Chris Henry all over the place there. Morgan Allen makes a decent bit of ground for his side. Alan Davis. Better looking stuff. Shingar. Penalty against the Scarlets. Ulster will be pretty grateful for that, Eddie.
Well, it was good defence. I mean, after a big line break like that, they were in trouble. But they kept their shape. They worked very hard, and they didn't give away a silly penalty like they had the last time Connelly got in there, and deservedly won the turnover. But again, that line break, Jim, coming from a nonsense situation. They'd manned up. I think Jarn Kay again came out of his line for no apparent reason, and they got in behind him.
Yeah, there was a lovely, almost an underarm pass from the Scarlet skipper Hadley Parks, which bamboozled the Ulster defence. Paddy Jackson has struck that nicely and has cleared the danger, and it is going to be an Ulster throw. John Andrew, now 23 years of age, just 11 Ulster appearances, all of them off the bench and all of them in the league, so it's a big day for him.
Stay inside of 15 then.
Andrew Warwick making only his 6th start of the season. Nothing much wrong with that. Jackson. Cave, Jackson again. Luke Marshall. Away to Gilroy with a wee bit of room. Now he's up against Collins. Little chip and chase. This could work out nicely if it bounces. It does bounce, and Gilroy's going to get in. That is another splendid try by Craig Gilroy. Out of virtually nothing. A couple of quick passes, and Gilroy did the rest.
It was fantastic finishing, Jim. You know, it was a slow, lovely pass that got around the defence because Connelly played up and in. But once Gilroy got the ball, he just lights the place up. Fantastic feed on the outside, timed his kick to perfection, and then chased it down. I mean, fantastic, world-class finish.
Well, a fair mixed pitch and the ball set up very nicely, and Gilroy was away, and there was no catching him. And across came Gareth Owen, but the 7 specialist just didn't have the gas. Timed the kick to perfection, and yes, you need a bit of luck, but Gilroy took that wonderfully.
Well, you make your own luck with those kicks, Jim. You know, you get those to set up if you practice them enough, and That was a fantastic finish. I mean, once Gilroy got the ball and he was 60 metres out, you felt there was something on, and he's that type of player. He can make things happen.
Well, Gilroy's 32nd league try. He's third in the Ulster try scoring list behind Tommy Bowe and Andrew Trimble. Jackson's hit that beautifully. So into the second quarter of this game, and having been 8-0 down at one stage, Ulster now leading by 10 points to 8.
Yeah, it's exactly the response Ulster needed to bring to Clonethley. It's game on again here, Jim, as we're just 20 minutes in. It's been entertaining 20 minutes, albeit at times a bit frustrating, but credit to Ulster, they've fought their way back into the game, and now the momentum is with them.
Back on, Rogie.
So drop goal and a conversion for Ulster skipper Paddy Jackson. His opposite number Alan Thomas to restart. That's hanging again. Van der Merwe up quickly.
That's back off yellow, forward off yellow.
Referee's waiting for advantage.
Forward
it
off
came
yellow.
back off a Clonethley hand and then was knocked forward. Andrew Warwick drives into Kirby Myhill. Wilson leaves it for Paul Marshall. Outside is 22. Clever kick by Marshall. That's well covered though by big Morgan Allen, who is a handful, as Craig Gilroy has just found out. Well, did Gilroy come in from the wrong side? I think he did, you know. Will Boyd takes it forward into the Ulster half. Davis. Thomas gets it away. Well, Cave is missing tackles, which he normally wouldn't. That's a 3 that he just hasn't quite made. Thomas back inside. Here's Parks, the skipper. The Scarlets will attack straight away. George Earl. Tackled by Chris Henry. Well spoiled as the referee got the hand out for the penalty. Maybe it was just knocked forward. Referee says advantage is over. It was for a knock forward by Ulster. There's no scrum half there at the moment. Warwick close to getting himself offside. Good footwork once again by Owen, and right through is Thomas. Back come the Scarlets. Picked up by Phil John. A good sidestep by the loose head prop. Back in the Scarlet side. Men to spare if they can shift this. Regan King gets it away. Collins for his second. What a great try by the Scarlets. Well, once again, Ulster architects of their own downfall. One simple missed pass, and the Scarlets kept the ball and scored.
Well, again, it came from the advantage. Ulster seemed to freeze up, and Clonethley got a little bit of a line break there, and they kept it going. And once they got under the post, they got numbers wide, and it was going to be hard to recover from that. So Clonethley are one of those teams, Jim, as you know, like if you give them opportunities, they're great finishers. And, you know, the opportunities for Clonethley so far have been created by Ulster, which is frustrating.
Well, the Clonethley's passing has been quite fantastic, but Ulster's defending in the middle of the park has been hopeless.
Well, yeah, Darren Cave seems to be struggling out there at the moment, Jim. He missed a big tackle on the halfway line, which gave Clonethley the momentum to get into the Ulster half. So that tackle, had he made it, would have stopped the whole thing back in the Clonethley half and probably forced him to kick. These are the small mistakes that against a team like Clonethley, they will hurt you. And their handling has been excellent. And the ball is dry at the moment. We're lucky with the weather, but they've taken full advantage when they've got it.
Peter Thomas looks as if he's going to come on for Alan O'Connor, who seems to be in a bit of trouble. We'll find out more about that in a moment. Meanwhile, it's Alan Thomas with the conversion, and that's not a bad strike. And that's a very good strike indeed, right between the Ulster post. It was a wee bit on the wobbly side. So all of a sudden, the Scarlets have bounced back, and they're now leading by 15 points to 10. And Alan O'Connor has gone off. He's trotting off, so one hopes it's not too bad. It may just be a head injury. We'll try and find that out. So Peter Brown is on, and once again Paddy Jackson restarts for Ulster. Van der Merwe, if Ulster give him room, he could hurt them.
Inside, it's inside.
Alan Davis kicks. Roger Wilson, that's knocked backward. Good tackle by Kirby Myhill and Ulster's number 8. Ricky Lutton makes a bit of ground. Marshall, now Jackson. Cave. Good work at the breakdown by John Andrew. With Brown straight into action. Well presented. Jackson. He's given that a fair thumb. Who's underneath it? The answer is Thomas, the outside half. Alan Davis running wide. Good tackle there by Andrew Warwick, Ulster's loose head. Scarlets back in their own 10-metre line. Collins had to go into scrum half. Chris Henry with the tackle. Peter Brown in there as well. Well released by the Scarlets. Big George Earl into Robbie Dyack. Davis looking for a runner perhaps. He gets one in Phil John. They've crabbed right across the park, but they're still in possession. Kicked by Davis. Oh, wonderful take there by Craig Gilroy, who's moved across to the left wing. Marshall, Jackson for the corner. Well gathered in by the double try scorer Collins. What a nice strike. Marshall. Oh, Marshall didn't put enough on that, and he was so lucky to get away with that. That would have been catastrophic for Ulster.
Well, if that went to hand, Jim, it was over. It was another 7-pointer, and totally unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. I mean, it was probably the highest risk option he could take, and he took it.
Well, I know he's only a little fella, but he needed to put so much more on that. There was plenty of room there. Straight down the tram lines would have been perfect. That was a high-risk strategy, and it very nearly backfired in Ulster.
Did indeed. I mean, that place for that ball was 60 metres downfield, and with the wind at his back, he should have pumped it down there. Yeah, you don't like to, take a bit of ambition away from guys, but if you take those risks, they've got to be pretty much a certainty, because they're catastrophic when they don't come off, and Ulster very close there to getting another sucker punch.
Bit of a stoppage there. Wayne Pivac there with the baseball cap. We've got a pause for an injury to the Scarlets tight head prop, Big Peter Edwards. Looks like his left knee's giving him trouble. Last time we had a stoppage for him, it was the shorts were giving him trouble, but he's more worried about his knee, I think, than his elegant appearance. So 28 minutes almost played, and this lead has changed hands a few times. Ulster at 10-8 up, looked to be in a decent position, and then they give away another try. Remember, to go back to the top of the league, Ulster not only have to win this game, but they've got to win it with a bonus point. Following Connacht's amazing exploits in Italy yesterday, where they scored their highest ever points total away from home. Connacht with, I think, 7 games to go, have won 10 games so far, which is the most they've ever won in the league. Here comes Cave. Needs just to do a little bit to make up for 1 or 2 tourish tackles. Luke Marshall under a wee bit of pressure. All the way down is DTH Van der Merwe, 39 times cap for Canada and veteran of 3 World Cups and top try scorer in this league when he was with Glasgow with 35 dot downs. And here they come again. Regan King always gets it away. Hadley Parks, Boyd the flanker. Nice handling from the Scarlets. Shingler, who's taken off the headband that he started the game with. Alan Thomas again. Ulster up quickly. Bit of a risk taken there. Alan Thomas. Good tackle by Robbie Dyack. Peter Brown's in the middle of all of that. Crowd says it's been held up off the ground. It's coming back slowly, and it's maybe just coming back on the Ulster side. It is. So now it's Gilroy. Gets away from one. Inside to John Andrew as hooker. Better stuff by Ulster. Marshall. Does he put too much in that? This would be it needs to kick a little bit, and it has kicked a little bit. And he took the risk this time, and for Paul Marshall, the risk paid off. Nice kick.
Yeah, it was a nice kick. It bounced right to the right area and went to touch. So it's good defence by Ulster, won a good turnover and used it very well to pin Connettley back. So you'd like to think Ulster keep the pressure on here. What we don't want here is a a soft penalty, a soft exit for Connetly. Even means let them win the line. They're not going to go too far with it into this wind.
Well, time was, you'd have said it was lovely weather for ducks, but it's not really. It's a pretty good afternoon here at the Kingspan Stadium. Kirby Myhill. Bit of pressure coming from Ulster, and they've stolen it for Peter Brown. Great chance this night for the men in white. Marshall, Roger Wilson tries to get away from the Scarlets skipper Hadley Parks. Marshall, they're queuing up. Don't know who that was meant to go to, but it's been picked up by Craig Gilroy, Ulster's try scorer. Taken on by John Andrew. Great support play by Ulster's hooker. Marshall again. Franco van der Merwe looking for his third league try. Now Marshall. Jackson. Inside the cave. No way through that Scarlets defence. Marshall again. Ricky Lutton. What a great tackle that was. Ulster need to get more men back quickly. Now they have John Andrew again. Ulster still to the left of the Scarlets posts. Wilson dips that shoulder in characteristic fashion. Marshall. Stuart Olding in the narrow side. Marshall again. And again it's Wilson bludgeoning his way forward. Marshall, quicker ball this time. Well taken by Andrew Warwick, just allowed for the drift. Marshall again. Jackson inside to Gilroy. Gets away from two. Quicker ball now. Jackson. Olding. Jackson has a wee go himself. Peter Brown. Huge amount of pressure now coming from Ulster, but the Scarlets defence pretty good. John Andrew. A lot of pace. And again from Ulster. Just about a metre away. Ian Davis is having a good look. Peter Brown looking for his second try. What a roar from this crowd here. Marshall, Dyack, couldn't quite stretch. Chris Henry is wide, here he goes. The post within touching distance, Marshall knocks it backward. And still Ulster press, and still the Scarlets dig in. What a great passage of play. And here go Ulster again, and again it's big Peter Brown. Scarlets man on the way, Franco van der Merwe. In goes Andrew. Referee says the Scarlets man is trapped, so he's not being illegal. There's the line. Scarlets need to be behind the line, and they're not, as it turns out. Referee telling the Scarlets to get their paws out of it. Now it's Jackson, a little bit of width on it. Gilroy has another go. Wonderful last-ditch defence by the men in red and yellow. Robbie Dyack knocked to the ground. Sidestep by Roger Wilson. A couple of Scarlets' hands got in there. Now it's Marshall. Still there for Ulster, scrabbling forward. Ricky Lutton presents Marshall. Flat to his namesake, Luke Marshall. And it's been stolen by Hadley Parks. Well, all that Ulster pressure has come to nothing, and the Scarlets will, I'm sure, wallop this if they can, but knowing Scarlets, they're going to run it, and here's Regan King, and there's an overlap here. Cave makes the tackle, back inside to Thomas. Well cut down. Regan King, the veteran, still a lot of zip there, lovely pass, and Van der Merwe well taken. Still there for Ulster, knocked backward. Well, what a game this is. Out it comes. Scarlets penalised, coming in from the side. Well, I'm delighted to have pause for breath. Eddie O'Sullivan.
Well, it was great rugby, Jim, in fairness. Great rugby. Ulster kept the pressure on. But eventually you got to give credit to Connetly again. The line held, they fought very hard. And then, after all that, most teams would be happy to kick it out and take a breather. They run from inside their own 22 and almost sneaked away again. You know, a great tackle, I think was by Gilroy, saved the day again. And another great tackle by Paddy Jackson. And Ulster ready to launch a counter-attack, but I think everyone was too tired at that stage. Fortunately, Connetly gave away the penalty, but that ball looked out, but he wasn't letting him in from the side. So exciting stuff, but really, you got to give credit to both sides there. You know, you got to give credit collectively for the defence and the counter-attack. And Ulster showed a lot of patience. Unfortunately, turn over the ball, but great patience by Ulster, and that they've got to keep that pressure on. I think we've got a wee bit of rain coming in now, which could change everything.
And the wind is picked up as well. Hadley Parks, the Scarlets skipper, will be pretty happy with his players. There was that little pop pass into Luke Marshall, and Hadley Parks is a huge lump of a fellow. He could well play in the back row, and what a great strip tackle he made on Luke Marshall. And from there on, the Scarlets managed to get it away. Anybody else would have kicked it, but not the Scarlets, and they decided to run it, and they very nearly engineered a third try. So John Andrew will not want to leave the field, having started a senior game for the very first time. Hadley Parks played for the Blue Bulls and the Southern Kings and the Hurricanes as well. In the meantime, Paddy Jackson has found a pretty decent touch, but his hooker is down, so it's going to be interesting to see who throws the ball in. I think John Andrew's about to get up.
Sorry, he's a hooker, yeah? Yeah, 34, yeah.
I'm being informed that the introduction of Peter Brown for Alan O'Connor was a tactical change as opposed to an injury, rather early in the game, to be replacing one second row with another, I would have thought.
Well, you'd expect to be keeping those big boys for late in the game for some impact off the bench. So it's a very interesting substitution.
Okay, time on, Rogie, please.
John Andrews' ankle seems to be fine. Let's see what his throwing arm was like. Well done to Brown. Jackson, Luke Marshall. It's not going well for Ulster in the middle of the park at all. Another good opportunity wasted. Back to the Scarlets, and once again they're trying to run it. What for Regan King? Beautiful inside pass. Good tackle by Peter Brown. Davis gets it away. Morgan Allen taken by his opposite number 8, Roger Wilson. Davis shaping up to kick down the line, and he does.
Thanks, Rogie.
Well taken by Stuart Olding. He set that nicely. Ricky Lutton. Jackson. In fact, it was Craig Gilroy. Now Darren Cave. Ricky Lutton. Paddy Jackson. Bit of width on it. Gilroy. Olding. That'll look high. Referee agrees. Penalty coming to Ulster. Might be better occupied just taking the penalty and going down the line. Robbie Dyack takes it forward. No advantage so far to Ulster from that penalty. Chris Henry. Marshall has a little go, and he's got away. He's got Henry with him. He gets it to Luke Marshall. This could be a chance. Marshall for the corner. Can he get in? Oh, I think he's got in. Referee's going to have a look. Now, hitting the corner flag no longer means that you're in touch, but it's a question of him getting the ball down. What a great flourish, a fabulous little archetypal break by Luke Marshall. And Paul Marshall, I should say, and Luke Marshall, well, has he got Ulster second?
I think it's going to be tight, Jim, because I think he may have tried to get too far into the in-goal area and got turned as he went to ground. It's going to be tighter than we think.
Well, that was the pass. He did really well to put the... Ooh! Now, what's wrong with that, Eddie?
Well, we'll have to see the touchline here. This will give the line. It's the ball. It's the ball down from the end. We're going to see it from the end. If his elbow's down before the ball's down, he's in touch and goal.
Well, I think the touch judge or assistant on this side is he's on the side, and he was closer than anybody.
Yeah.
They're going to go upstairs. The TMO is Alan Rogan.
I think they're going to need an end on, Jim, here, an end on from the in-goal area where you can see, and this might be the one. Is it grounded before he hit? Yes, I think it's down. Yeah,
He's got that. That's a try, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not up to me. It's up to a combination of Alan Rogan and Ian Davis and
I have a decision.
people with pink shirts and whistles.
I have a decision.
Well, there's no doubt about the reaction of the crowd to that, Eddie. You know what the crowd think.
Yeah, I think you're getting it.
Oh, it is a try. And it's a belter.
Well, it
Right
was
before
very
the
close.
interval.
It was very close in the end, but a perfect time to score for Ulster. Right back in the game. But it was a great finish. Marshall probably went too far into the in goal area. If he went for the goal line, he would have been fine, but cut it very fine in the end. But it's still, he got it down, I think. It would have been very disappointing had he not got that try.
A 9th league try for Luke Marshall, who's been the 24th man for the last couple of weekends with the Irish Six Nations squad. Here's Jackson. That's coming in. Oh, what another good kick by Paddy Jackson under difficult conditions. And what an extraordinary game we're having here at the Kingspan Stadium. Lead has changed hands yet again, and having been 15-10 behind, Ulster are now 17-15 ahead.
Absolutely, and they've responded every time to Glentley, which is great. I mean, it's a good game of rugby, Jim. The conditions aren't perfect, but both sides are certainly having a go, and it's top quality. You know, that was a great, again, finish by Luke Marshall after Paul Marshall making a searing break off the side of the ruck. But it's, to be fair, Glentley have brought the game here, so it's going to half time, it's all on.
Scarlets have made a replacement. More about that in a moment as Ulster receive the restart kick. Well, Roger Wilson. Kirby Myhill was the tackler. Look, Paul Marshall into a lot of space there. Here's the try scorer Collins, and gets away from the first tackle, and he's still going, Collins. Ulster missing a lot of first up tackles. Thomas, Shingler into Roger Wilson, gets no change out of Roger Wilson.
Leave him.
Ball coming back slowly, just 2 minutes remaining. Scarlets still trying to put a bit of weight on it. Wonderful handling by the visitors. Big George Earl. Davis, Thomas. Look at this, they've engineered another overlap. Kirby Myhill. And that's gone out wide to Stephen Evans, the replacement, who's come on. Ulster driving through, good play by Chris Henry. John Andrew. Marshall, that might not be a bad kick, he's going to have to chase it himself, and all the way back goes Gareth Owen, who's used to playing full-back as well. Slight miscue. Well taken by Gilroy. Now where's he going to go? Good tackling once again by the Scarlets. Paddy Jackson. Flat to Wilson, who's been prominent on such an auspicious occasion for the great Ulster rugby servant. Olding. Clattered in the middle of the park there by the veteran Regan King. Cap once for New Zealand away back in 2002. Paul Marshall gets himself into a little bit of trouble. He's got to release it. And it's been turned over. There's a clever kick into a bit of space. Taken by Olding. He hasn't found touch. Well, this game has just about everything. Somebody down injured at the moment. The Scarlets player into the last half minute of this pulsating first half here in East Belfast. Shingler gets it away. Hadley Parks, the captain. Well, again, the first up tackle wasn't made. And the Scarlets get the penalty, and this could give them the lead as half-time approaches. And Ulster once again just not on the money.
Well, they defended well again. They got the ball back. We're launching a counter-attack. You know, good kick downfield, but Glentley always going to carry the ball back. But frustrating again there, Jim. You know, just a soft penalty at the ruck. Glentley will happily, if they can knock this 3 points over, gives them the edge going in at half-time. It's still a tough penalty to make, but unnecessarily one that didn't need to concede, because the shape in the defence was pretty good.
Well, it's Gareth Owen, incidentally, who's down injured inside the Scarlets half, getting some treatment, and we hope he's okay. And Alan Thomas, who's been in pretty good form with the old goal kicking, to give the Scarlets a lead. Bit of a swirling wind, but it's certainly well within his range. Stabbing kick off the post, and Stuart Olding pops it into the Aquinas stand, and Ulster will turn round ahead. Do they deserve to be ahead, Eddie?
I think on the balance of things, yeah, they haven't made it easy on themselves as they often do, but you've got to give them credit for bouncing back, and yeah, I think they probably deserve to get to edge it here, but this game isn't over by a long shot, Jim, as we know, and Cletley have the breeze behind them in the second half, and if there's a little bit of rain comes in, it could make it very difficult.
Joe Barracat, the Ulster defence coach, will not be a happy bunny with some of the poor tackling.
No, some poor tackling, slipping off tackles, and also like bad balance, getting caught. You know, when Cletley go wide, we seem to be very close to the rucks and turning in a bit early, and we can't get to the outside channels and giving them a lot of space out there. And a team like Cletley will take advantage of that. They've got to readjust their spacing and a bit more balance around the ruck.
Well, it's a pretty happy Sunday afternoon for a lot of the Ulster supporters, young and old. 2 tries apiece in the first half, 2 from the Scarlets fullback Michael Collins and 1 each from Craig Gilroy and Luke Marshall. The difference between the sides, Paddy Jackson's goal kicking, Ulster leading at the interval by 17 points to 15.
Well, more than 15,000 people have been enjoying the game here at the Kingspan Stadium. We hope you are at home as well. The lead has seesawed back and forward. It's certainly been a pulsating first half. Do you think Ulster deserved to be going in 2 points in front?
I'm not too sure. I think it's been a great match, very, very entertaining, end-to-end stuff, plenty of turnovers, really exciting for everybody here to watch. I just think Ulster, you know, their own worst enemies at the minute, just turning the ball over, missing tackles, you know, offloads away, shortening the defence, and a couple of easy scores for once the Scarlets broke the line. But in saying that, we're in the lead, we're still not playing brilliantly, and we're 2 points ahead. So, yeah, it's been to and fro, and it's been a great match so far.
Is it fair to say offensively Ulster have looked particularly impressive at times, but defensively will be disappointed?
Defensively, they're all over the show, and there's will be a clip later on we can actually see, which is like a snapshot of where Ulster have been all day. It is great Sunday afternoon entertainment. I think the only thing is missing hot ports at half time. Everybody, but I mean that's
we'll get them sent up for you.
But Steve, Wayne Powick has set a stall out there. He's got Steve Jones in the dressing room there, working with the Scarlets team, and they're trying to play a really fast tempo. Ulster are allowing them to do that. Ulster are off the money defensively. They're all the same. We said earlier, they're all over the show, and it's allowing gaps to be shown. And what they are very, very good off, they're good over creating 3v1s, 3v2 overlaps, and that's where the scores have come from.
And it was poor defence that led to this opening Scarlets try.
Yeah, it was. Like, you look at Roger Wilson, he's just come up a yard there. Darren Cave's kind of sat back. The reason he sat back is because the Scarlets are up numbers, but it's a pretty simple one-on-one tackle here. You know, Darren just, you know,
really
a little bit worried about the outside and just gets stepped on the inside. Once there's a line break, it's an easy score. But you know, it's just a silly individual error that cost us 5 points.
Yeah, I think from the defence from the breakdown out, so that's a simple 3v2 towards the end, but it starts closer into the breakdown. The guys on the inside aren't pushing forward and then pushing away, which then leaves the Darren Cave stuck sort of square on, and Darren will be disappointed that he missed a first up tackle. That was a simple first up tackle, even he should have got his hands on the guy.
But there has been lots of line breaks from the Scarlets, and our line has looked really shaky, and they've got numbers on us all the time. Why is that? It's because they're getting an offload away. The outside guy's hitting in to tackle that guy. Another offload away. Outside guy hitting in, taking that. Then they have quick ball. They have a full back line reloaded, and we have 2 or 3 guys sitting there. So, you know, it's about first up tackles, getting on the ball, making sure. Chris Henry, fantastic turnover on our own line. That's what we need from everybody out there. And you know, it's more of a team effort, and it's just not good enough there in the first half, Steve.
And that excellent Chris Henry turnover here gave Ulster the opportunity to lead to the super Craig Gilroy try.
Yeah, as you can see here, line off ball off the top. Craig Gilroy get the pace, the ball in 60 metres. Good skill for run at that pace and being able to chip, getting the bounce to go for you, which is good. But Craig Gilroy has that gas. It just shows he's a confident player playing a huge amount of confidence, and it shows. Very easy, he could have tried to step inside, but he's following his footballing skills here, and to say the more you practice that, the luckier you become.
What a finish.
Let me ask you this, what all Ulster fans are asking then. When he's lighting up the Kingspan Stadium the way he is today and has been all season, why do you think he's not getting more of an opportunity with Ireland?
That's a good question. Political answer. If there's a man you want to bring on off the bench, 20 minutes, a tired defence, it's Craig Gilroy. For me, he strengthens the team. Where if you look at Fergus McFadden, yes, he comes on and does a solid job, but is he adding much to the team? Is he making the team better? For me, probably not. for Craig. Yes, he definitely is. And you know, we've been here the last number of weeks. He has been in scintillating form, and I think he really does deserve a call up.
He does deserve a shot at, but Joe will actually go with who he's trained with, and he's trained with Fergus McFadden, he's trained with the Leinster boys, so his subconscious will be that's where he'll go with. He's seeing Craig Gilroy putting performances. All Craig can do is go out week in, week out, put performances, keep scoring tries, and that will get him up to back onto the Irish team.
Scarlets' second try, I mean, very well taken try, but yet again, Ulster will be disappointed with the defence, Stephen.
Yeah, it's just the continuing shortening of the line that they're doing, but yeah, we'll just watch it go through it here. But
just at the breakdown here, Stephen, you can see this is a snapshot we talked about earlier on. Darren Cave is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. He's 2 or 3 metres in front of the guys inside. Those guys, Roger Wilson and I think it's John Andrews, need to be pushing up. Darren Cave's up in line, steps inside. The defence hasn't pushed up and out, which allows the Scarlets then to get the front foot forward ball going forward. And again, Ulster very, very passive in defence. There isn't that aggression that you'd normally expect in the white shirt coming forward. Very passive. So we're taking the tackle on the Scarlets' terms, which means they are offloading, coming forward. And again, here we are. Boys get sucked in towards the breakdown, and it's a simple numbers game.
Yeah, Paddy Jackson would have yellow carded there, I think, if we hadn't scored that try, which wouldn't have been good. But again, just, you know, guys stepping in again. There's 3 men out of the defensive line straight away. Quick ball, and they're in the corner.
But credit to the Scarlets, have played some lovely rugby with ball in hand.
Their skills have been fantastic. Thankfully, the Whalers held up. But Ulster's defence has been poor. But in saying that, the Scarlets have taken advantage of that.
And Ulster, of course, hit back with another score before half-time, and an excellent finish.
But it's been individual brilliance. They've been very, very predictable. You know, a Craig Gilroy, excellent try. Marshy, brilliant break here, and a fantastic finish by Luke Marshall in the corner. When we were battering their line constantly over and over again, the guys in attack were standing with their hands on their hips, you know, just bent over, sucking for air and not getting their width, and that's not good enough. You gotta have the drive to get into a wide position. Like, we were covering half the pitch most of the time, and for me that's not good enough. You have to work as hard in defence as you do in attack. In the first half, even though we're leading this match, we're not working hard enough in either of those.
Okay, Stephen Morris, thank you for the moment. It is, of course, a special evening for Roger Wilson, who's making his 200th appearance for Ulster. Now, the 33-year-old has admitted recently that he's starting to slow down a little after so many years as a professional sportsman. But his new wife from Brazil, who is an athlete in her own right, is certainly keeping him on his toes. Gavin Andrews went to meet them.
Roger Wilson has always pushed himself on the pitch.
Not a chance.
Now he's having to raise his game off it. The new Mrs. Wilson, Natalia Mello, is a model and former world champion bodybuilder. The big man in the back row has met his match.
We were both very competitive. And go. All the way down. Yeah.
Oh, come on, is that all you got?
All right, that's it. 10.
Moved back to Belfast, signed with Ulster, and then not long after, she made the ridiculous decision of moving from Florida to East Belfast.
Here I find it more family oriented and people are more genuine, I would suppose, more honest, so I like that.
And everyone knows him here?
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal, I think.
Not quite, well.
It's funny that at the gym sometimes I will see people like looking, like kind of curious looking at me. I'm like, oh, they probably know me from like my Facebook, and they're like, you're Roger's wife, aren't you? I'm like, yes.
But we go to the gym together, but most of the time, you know, she's flat out training for maybe 2-3 hours at a time, and I just pretty much go up, sit on a bike and stretch, talk to the old man about the game at the weekend, and relax. So
when you finally retire, you're not going to be able to get fat?
I plan on it, but whether it's going to happen or not.
Get it closer.
Doesn't go any closer.
Keep your back straight.
Doesn't go straighter. All in all, you know, it's been great. Really lucky to have lasted this long. Although I maybe didn't get as far as I would have liked to internationally, I think, you know, on the flip side of it, you know, I've played plenty of times for two of the top teams in Europe, you know, over, you know, kind of 12, 13 years so far. So I think I would say I've been in a fairly lucky position. You can let go. I got it.
Ooh.
Struggling there?
How many have I done?
4 proper ones.
Shut up.
We're going to enjoy the last sort of few years of rugby what's left in me, but we're expecting our first child in August.
You're going to let the pregnant lady beat you?
Straight in the middle of pre-season as well. I'll be taking all my full complement of paternal leave, no doubt. I've been reading up on that. But yeah, that's something to look forward to anyway.
It must be particularly annoying when your wife can lift heavier weights than you would.
No, it's good to see him with a smile on his face. She's a great girl, like, and yeah, he's got his work cut out there because she puts him through his paces.
Absolutely. Just a reminder about our online rugby show, Ulster Rugby Extra, which you can see on the BBC Sports website this week. Ulster's Operations Director Bryn Cunningham joined us on the show, and you can still catch it on the BBC Northern Ireland website. Exciting first half. How do you see the second half shaping up? Can we keep the same intensity, do you think, or will things start to tighten up a little?
I think it will tighten up towards the end. Hopefully we can get another score early on in the second half here. I'd like to see Ruan Pienaar come on, get the ball away quicker into Paddy Jackson's hands. Paul's made a couple of individual errors himself out there in the first half, which maybe cost us a little bit, but yeah, I'd see the bench being emptied on soon enough.
Okay, let's get some pitch side reaction with Gavin Andrews.
Ulster assistant coach Alan Clark was with me. Alan, what was the message in the dressing room?
Thankful to be ahead at half time, but really disappointed with some aspects of our game in that first half. Our line speed, our physicality, slipping off tackles, our precision around the breakdown. Just building pressure and positives. You know, we've been in and out of the game at times, and it hasn't been good enough from us.
But like the last couple of weeks, leading despite the performance.
Yeah, we found a way, and we're thankful for that, but we're going to have to be better in the second half. Scarlets are dangerous, and we're letting them get the edge at the moment. We've got to be able to shut that down in the second half. When we get into the right areas of the field, make sure we're effective and come away with points.
Okay, Al, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Morris, if Ulster can tighten up their defence second half, do you see them closing out the game?
Yeah, you can, and that's what they have to do. They have to sort their defensive shape out. They have to sort out the line speed, and if they do that, they have enough weaponry throughout that team to get another couple of scores.
What do you think, Stephen?
Yeah, I think so. Just we need to work more as a unit. Guys going off, a couple of yards ahead, as Morris touched on, on the defensive line. But I think, a little bit more kicking into the corners from Paddy Jackson, playing into the breeze. Put a couple of high balls up there, and hopefully we can get a few turnovers and get a couple of scores ourselves.
And Paddy Jackson, who has played pretty well first half.
He has, yeah. I think Morris would agree. He's had a good game so far. Nice wee drop goal as well, and he's controlling things reasonably well. More of the same. I think we're Ruan Pienaar inside him. I'll give him a little bit more confidence.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. It was certainly an excellent first half. Let's hope for more of the same in the second. It's back to Eddie O'Sullivan and Jim Neely.
Well, we're going to have to wait for a little bit longer to see if Ruan Pienaar makes his appearance, because Paul Marshall has come back on the field, and Ulster leading by just 2 points. Ian Davis, the referee, and as we mentioned, the man who was in charge of Ulster's game in Treviso a few weeks ago, and also had a poorish first half and then ran away with the game in the second half. They would settle for something similar. He's checking with Paddy Jackson if the Ulster skipper is ready to receive, and his opposite number, Alan Thomas, starts us. Well, there's the man. It's going to be a dad for the first time in August, a long way off. Enjoy the remainder of your freedom. Clever little kick by Stuart Olding, nicely gathered. Well, there was nobody close enough to him, but he's done well enough to retain possession. Surely a Scarlets player was in an offside position there, but the referee's happy to play on. And Jackson trying to keep the lid on it, saw a bit of a gap, and what a clever kick by Ulster's captain.
Good stop by Ulster, Jim. Get out of their own half. Great kick by Olding and Gather. He was tempted to throw the pass there, Jim, but I think he did the right thing, because there was two Connetly players running in the channel, and good kick there into the corner straight away, pin Connetly back in their 22 and let them find a way out of it.
It is going to be a Connetly throw, mind you. Also haven't put any real pressure on the opposition line out. Oh, and they've just done that. Somebody needs to tidy it up, and they have done. It's Ricky Lutton, the tight head prop. So Ulster in the driving seat. Franco van der Merwe making his 17th start of the season, and Wilson still defying the years. Marshall, Jackson, Well, that's gone backward. Referee happy enough. A little bit of miscommunication there, and Ulster spilled it forward. That's very careless yet again by Ulster, just when you thought they were in a decent position to achieve something. Now Paul Marshall. That's straight into Hadley Parks, who bounces Marshall, but not so Chris Henry, but Parks has got into the Ulster half. Alan Davis to his namesake Alan Thomas. That's come off an Ulster hand, and that's going to be a Scarlets line out. Well, another little, probably unnecessary mistake by Ulster, Eddie. One hates to be too critical, but from up here, that's what's happening.
Well, they've got to get those field positions like they had there. They've got to build something on it. They stole the line out really well, and it was really time to turn the screw on Clonettley. But, you know, it's sloppy breakdown, the ball squirts out, and no advantage Clonettley. So you got to seize these moments in a tight game.
Kirby Myhill into the full 7-man line out. Good effort by Ulster, well away by Davis. Regan King, still one of the best passers in the business, the former All Black. Had a little spell with Clermont before coming back to the Scarlets. Scarlets moving forward. This is looking ominous. They'll be looking for a quick strike at the start of the second half. Shingler, brother of Stephen, who is injured and couldn't start today. Kirby Myhill.
Off your feet now, White. Let it come.
DTH van der Merwe goes in. Ulster in danger of conceding a penalty there. Well taken by George Earl. Away by Phil John. Regan King slips it away. Hadley Parks is so difficult to stop. Rolls out of the tackle. Ulster up quickly. Phil John once again. But the veteran has set it up nicely. Davis. Thomas. Look at the numbers they have out wide. Beautiful pass by Regan King. Here's Collins. Sells a dummy looking for a hat-trick. Van der Merwe is very close. And Ulster just guilty of missing the odd pass. Here comes George Earl. Can the Scarlets get try number 3 at the start of this second half? Regan King deserves it more than anyone, I suspect. Again, it's the Scarlets. Alan Thomas. Ulster wrong-footed. Davis gets it away. Morgan Allen. Well, he's so close. Got the crucial try against Edinburgh last week. Ulster right back on their own goal line. Thomas again. Look at the numbers out there. King, little slip pass. He's having to go himself, and he spilled it forward. Well, it seemed easier to score than not to score. Jackson has got himself in behind Marshall, who has a go himself. Well, so not getting the exit strategy right. John Andrew takes it on a little bit. Marshall back in position. He has to do what he's told. And he does kick. And has he found his touch? No, he hasn't. It's another fundamental error. Taken on by Clonettley. They're not giving this one up, you know. Alan Thomas. Shingler gets it away wide. Good tackle by Luke Marshall on Hadley Parks. Myhill comes on the near side. Davis. King. Got outside Peter Brown. Wonderful pass. King got away, not for the first time this afternoon. Referee's got the hand out for a penalty to the Scarlets. Shingler sidesteps Peter Brown. Well, Scarlets are really giving Ulster a masterclass in distribution and continuity. Another penalty coming, this time it's closer in. Big thump on Hadley Parks. Myhill, tackled by Paddy Jackson. Still advantage to the Scarlets, but the referee hasn't blown yet for the full penalty. Will Boyd.
Still advantage, yellow. Tackle complete.
Still advantage to the Scarlets. Shingler. Davis again, they're looking for the try. Wonderful pass. Now they will come back. Well, they deserve that.
Jim, but you got to give credit. Yeah. Again, the Ulster defence in the initial stages caught very narrow, and the big line break comes out wide. After that, Ulster scrapped very hard, got the ball back, and then missed touch when they needed to steady the ship. Clonetty come back again, and you've got to admire Clonetty's continuity game, Jim. Some of the passing is superb, but their contact work is fantastic. They're holding on to the ball really well.
Well, the oldest man in the park, Regan King, is still probably the best footballer in the park, and he's so strong. He couldn't quite get the ball behind him there, but he's the man who's been causing all the problems for Ulster with his clever passing. He's missing out men, he's floating the passing, he's putting just the right amount of weight on it.
Well, he's making those reads in the outside channels really well. When he's straightening the line, he's collapsing the defence, and then he's letting the ball go at the crucial moment. And you can't but admire Clonetty here, their ability to hold on to the ball and their patience with the ball. And I suppose Ulster, if they're going to learn anything from this, they've got to, when they get a chance to get out of jail, they've got to take it. And that missed touch brought Clonetty back onto them again, and that led to the penalty now, which is probably going to give Clonetty the lead.
Well, I'm just looking across the pitch, and it looks like Ulster are going to replace their entire front row, which I don't think they've ever done unless it's been in the very last stages of the game. The scrum has been pretty decent, so I'm not sure whether they're going to get a huge advantage from changing the entire front row. In the meantime, Alan Thomas has popped it between the Ulster posts, and a rather polite round of applause and no more signifies that the Scarlets are back in the lead. We have played 6.5 minutes in the second half, and it's Ulster 17, Scarlets 18. And still no sign of Ruan Pienaar coming on.
No, I think at this stage maybe Ulster could do with Pienaar, because you take pressure off Paddy Jackson, and he can also get the tempo of the game to what Ulster need. I think this is the one thing that Ruan Pienaar brings to Ulster. He may not make the breaks that Paul Marshall will make, but he certainly brings a good tempo to the team, and they need some tempo now to hold on to the ball.
Jackson with the restart. Bronson Ross and Kyle McCall, the replacement props, and it's a first cap, and congratulations to the 23-year-old originally from Banbridge, John Murphy, coming on as replacement hooker for his very first Ulster cap. Here's Robbie Dyack, who's played 167 times for Ulster. Paul Marshall, Jackson, straight up in the air, gathered in by Stockdale, knocked forward by Ulster. Needless to say, the crowd not impressed with that decision, but you couldn't argue with it.
Not a particularly good kick from Paddy Jackson, went straight up in the air, and always a lottery when it came down. I suppose into that wind it's harder to kick long now, because it's not going to travel as far or
every
fly
single
as long.
stayed up, and every single ball has come out. Okay, you continue the good work those who left that.
Referee ensuring that the new front rows don't take any liberties that the players gone off.
Every scrum has stayed up so far.
Did you as a coach ever replace an entire front row with 7 minutes of the second half gone?
No, unless they were going to have a major impact, but I've never had the capacity to do that. But it's an interesting change here. They must feel they can bring something here and put pressure on Clonetty. It's a big change to make.
And the Scarlets themselves have made a change. Loose head prop Phil John has been replaced by number 17 Dylan Evans. So what difference is a replacement front row going to make? Not a lot, as it turns out. Alan Thomas, again there's that width. King got it away magnificently, absolutely bamboozled Ulster. Here goes Hadley Parks. This could be try number 4 or number 3 I should say, and it's very close. And has it gone into touch? I don't think it has. Scarlets trying to keep it alive. Here comes George Earl for the Scarlets. What a wonderful passage of play, and what a wonderful bit of handling, completely overwhelming Ulster's midfield. And there's going to be a yellow card, and it's going to be against Chris Henry at the breakdown. He has been told, and now he's gone, and it's not looking good for Ulster.
Well, it's finding ways to shoot yourself in the foot here, I mean, again, Ulster are caught badly in defence. Everyone's squared up, and again Regan King, magic hands, gets around the corner. Great cover defence to stop Van der Merwe from scoring what looked like an unmissable try, but again Clonetty come back to the middle, and Ulster give up the penalty and now the yellow card, and I think he's taken it 3 points, and they'll back themselves now maybe to tag on more for in the next 10 minutes.
Well, this is only Ulster's 4th yellow card of the season. Well, that was the break by Hadley Parks, but if we had gone back about another 10 seconds before that, you would have seen the sublime pass that actually put him away. So it's Alan Thomas to take the Scarlets past the 20 mark and give them a 4-point cushion. Little chip yet again. Not a problem to the Scarlets outside half.
Okay.
It's looking more like, Jim, we're going to get some rain coming in now, and that changes the game as well completely. It won't be easy for us to carry the ball. They're playing into the wind, and it's going to be a hard slog from here. It's early in the second half, but still 30 minutes left. But a lot of work ahead of Ulster here. They've really got to batten down the hatches. 14 men.
Well, they will be seriously concerned about how they're defending, and Scarlets have exposed them very badly out wide. Knocked forward by the Scarlets, tidied in by Kyle McCall, but no advantage to Ulster, and Ulster will get the scrum. 10 minutes in the second half. And Ruan Pinar is going to come on the field, it would seem. Not just yet. No Nick Williams on the bench. Remember, this game somewhat reminiscent of the European game against Oyonnax, when Ulster came back from 23-0 down. And they brought on Pinar, Jackson and Nick Williams, but there's no Nick Williams to come on. Jackson has started this one. And the Scarlets are altogether a much tougher proposition than the French side Oyonnax.
Set.
2, 3, 4, 5. Ready?
Good strike by Murphy. Marshall to Luke Marshall. Marshall again has another little dart. Gets it away to Gilroy, looking for a second. Good sidestep, but good Scarlets defence. Good option taken there. Kyle McCall rode the tackle well. Good presentation by the replacement prop. Goes Robbie Dyack a bit upright, and he got clattered for his pains. Ulster have got the penalty. Marshall. Jackson looking for Stockdale. Is he tall enough? Not quite. But they will come back to the penalty. That was the right tactic by Paddy Jackson in those circumstances.
Absolutely, and nothing to lose. They knew they had the penalty. There was nothing else on, and they were unlucky. But nice break again by Paul Marshall. Offloads to Gilroy, and they're in behind from Netley.
Good tackle by Michael Collins, the Scarlets fullback, and Jackson a little glance, and Stockdale at nearly 6'4", just couldn't quite latch onto that one. And Ulster quite rightly have decided to go for the corner because they need a try here.
Well, it's an interesting decision, Jim, because the wind must be pretty blustery out there. It wasn't too far out, but they feel they need to turn the screw here on Athletic. There's only 14 men to do it, which is going to be take an extra effort.
Yes, Chris Henry in the bin for another 8 minutes or so. 4 points between them. Ulster need a try. And this is the first throw at this level for Ulster's replacement hooker, John Murphy, who'll remember this one for quite a while. His first senior cap. How will he do? Pretty good. Peter Bryan takes. Ulster driving forward. Edwards surely has come down and collapsed that one. Got on the wrong side anyway. Ulster moving forward. After telling the Scarlets that they've got to let it come. Wilson is standing there. Here he goes. Good support play by Peter Bryan. Marshall again. Bit loopy. Luke Marshall had to stretch, but does well. Still there for Ulster. Wee chance on this side. That was John Murphy, the new cap. Onto Kyle McCall. Good drive by the youngster. Here's Marshall again. Stockdale. Into touch. Good defending on the near side by Stephen Evans and by Michael Collins.
Probably not the way to go, Jim. Stockdale's a big man, but there was 3 clinically defenders on that short side, and you know, they really, it was going to take a huge effort for Stockdale to get in, and Connectly just pushed him into touch. Unfortunate, because it gives Connectly a chance to clear their lines here.
And the Scarlets, I think, are going to bring on a big second row replacement who is enormous, and he's a Marcelino Paulino, the 28-year-old Samoan international. Looks as though he's enjoying himself and hasn't even come onto the pitch yet.
Yeah, look, I was clear in my instruction to come away, all right? Just
Injury to a Scarlets player, and you wonder, is that a bit of an old soldier thing given the pressure that's on them?
Oh yeah, I think it's they're trying to slow the game down here a little bit and take a bit of the fizz and pop out of Ulster. And certainly the line out, they'll want to steady the ship here near their own goal line and get out of here. But I think he's been down a while. It's probably longer than the requisite rest you get near your goal line. So maybe he's taking a knock.
Well, the clock has stopped. We played about 13.5 minutes in this second half. And it looks as if David Bulbring, the former South African under-20 international, seems to be fine. No sign of this Scarlets replacement coming on. Ulster will try to put a bit of pressure on here if they can. Oh, that was close. They've managed to get it away. First up, tackling has to be good. And Scarlets have done well. They've come in field to make it easier to clear. And this is a pretty good, what they call an exit strategy, but that's found Stockdale. Well taken. Stuart Olding on halfway. Has a run. Tackled by Boyle. Or Boyd, I should say. Marshall. Jackson. Wilson. Freud not happy about something. Marshall again, and Jackson. Gilroy. No way through. And Jackson. Away to Luke Marshall. Oh, great stuff by Luke Marshall with no angle in which to move. And the ball's going to touch, and it's going to be a Scarlets line out, and still no sign of Ruan Pienaar coming on. And there's another player down injured. I think it's another Scarlets player.
Yeah, there's back to 14 aside there for a while, but again, I can see here that Ulster are trying to build some pressure, and they're probing well now. They're probing up the middle and out wide. We saw a great feat by Marshall, but Connetly's defence has been solid throughout. But still, the game is in the balance here, Jim, and I think if Ulster can score next, they can go on and win the game. But if Connetly were to break out of here and score, it could make it a massive hill to climb. So the next score really for both sides is absolutely crucial.
Okay, if the ball is
I've been hugely impressed with the work in the middle of the park by the Scarlet centres, the skipper Hadley Parks, but particularly Regan King at 35, pushing 36. He's been superb.
Well, he's always been a great footballer, King, and he seems to be very comfortable on the ball today. He's caused all sorts of problems for the Ulster midfield. It's simple stuff, Jim, schoolboy stuff. Good lines of running, good passing, and timing the release of the pass perfectly. And he's really caused big issues for Ulster. And you know, I suppose a guy with his experience and age now, he knows exactly what he's about. But again, I think Connetly looking for another substitution here. I'm not sure who's down.
Yeah, I think there's a man down injured, and I think they're going to have to bring somebody. All the medical people down are saying that there is a bit of a problem. It looks like Aaron Shingler, the blindside flanker, who's played 8 times for Wales, last against South Africa in 2014, is going off, which will probably mean that Rory Pittman will come on to play in the back row. So off goes Shingler.
Wait. Nigel holding that. Number 4 yellow. 4.
And Paulino has come on in the second row for George Earl, and Rory Pittman has come on in the back row for the unfortunate Aaron Shingler. So 2 replacements, but 2 big men, so it'll not weaken the line out. Well taken in by Morgan Allen. But don't be surprised, well, they have decided to kick it from there. Stuart Olding. Craig Gilroy is the main Ulster chaser. Seemed to be a wee bit of obstruction there. Play on, says the referee. Paulino gallops away. Here come the Scarlets again. Remember, they're leading Ulster by 4 points. Pittman makes a decent bit of ground. Strong flanker. That's the replacement scrum half, incidentally. Rodri Williams. Will Boyd makes ground. This is Paulino, who is enormous. Samoan international. Williams into nowhere in particular, but well scooped up by Alan Thomas. Rodri Williams looking for a runner.
Use it, please. Use it.
Taken on by Bulbring. Williams, a sidestep by Regan King. Good pressure now coming from the Scarlets. In the 16 minutes played in the second half, Scarlets leading. Myhill takes it on. Williams, Thomas, Paulino. Good tackle there by Ulster, spilled forward. Darren Cave gets it away to Marshall. Gilroy, what a wallop he's given that. But it's set up nicely. Well covered by Marshall. This time it's Olding chasing. Good tackle by Olding on the enormous Morgan Allen, the Scarlets number 8. Well read by Jackson. He's on his own a little bit. Now to Luke Marshall. He needed to keep that closer to the touchline, perhaps. And is that going to drift into touch? Yes, it is.
Yes, Connectly blinked first there, Jim. You know, it was a bit of over and back, but you can see the crowd rising now because they know Ulster got a shot here. They got into the Welsh, into the Connectly half, and a mistake there, and an exit kicking directly to touch. So it's Ulster now need to build the pressure here. And as I said a while ago, before those injuries, that the next score is crucial here for Ulster, and they've had, this is their second visit to Connectly's 22 or close on it. They need to maybe turn the screw a bit here.
Chris Henry there, only the 5th Ulster in this season to be yellow carded, and incidentally there hasn't been a single red card in the Pro 12 tournament so far this season. Well taken by Brown. Jackson. Luke Marshall runs into Kirby Myhill. Marshall. Murphy. Oh, nicely done by Murphy. Bronson Ross, Ulster's replacement tight head. Good thundering drive by the big fella. Now Marshall looking for a runner, gets it in the shape of Kyle McCaw. Better stuff by the men in white. Luke Marshall, who's been busy. Caught by Bulbring. Marshall again, Robbie Dyack. Supported by Wilson and Brown. Jackson. Nice little dummy by Jackson.
Advantage forward pass. Advantage over.
Referee said the pass was forward, and he's played advantage, and the advantage is now over because the Scarlets have booted it downfield. Where is Olding going? He's got it to Gilroy, he gets away. Ulster back inside the Scarlets half. Jackson well positioned, taken on by the new fella Johnny Murphy. Jackson. Roger Wilson. Jackson. Taken by Van der Merwe, who runs into Robbie Dyack and Kyle McCaw. 21 minutes remaining. Regan King, there's that pass, gets it away nicely. Stephen Evans well tackled, has to release. Ulster looking for the turnover, but they get the penalty, which is probably better.
He was pulled down by you.
Chris Henry, I think, about to come back on. Chance for Paddy Jackson to put Ulster deep into Scarlets territory.
Yeah, and again, the last few minutes, you can see both teams being a little more circumspect about when they attack. But great defence by Ulster. Great tackle by Stockton, and Ulster win the turnover at the breakdown. A lot of players off their feet there, and just for a moment you're wondering which way the referee was going to go, but gave the call to Ulster.
Let's bring him on then.
Oh, beautiful kick by Paddy Jackson, an absolutely superb kick. No angle whatsoever. 13. And Ulster are bringing on the cavalry. Chris Henry back on the field. Sam Arnold is on for Darren Cave. And Rowan Pienaar's on for Paul Marshall.
Stay there.
Yeah, I think it's a good substitution. I must say the Ulster front row have had a good impact since they came off the bench carrying the ball as well, Jim. So the subs have been making an impact. But I think now that with the experience on the field, particularly Rowan Pienaar, that Ulster will push on here and get a score.
Ulster have made the catch, and now they're trying to execute the drive. They have a fair old way to go. There's 10 metres to go. Pienaar looking for the ball in his hands. Referee's got the hand out for a penalty against the Scarlets, who are starting to flag a wee bit, you get the feeling. Well away by Pienaar. Jackson. Not sure who that's for. McGilroy's going to chase, but they're going to come back to the penalty.
Coming around.
It's a big moment in the game, Jim. Ulster here have presume will probably go for the corner again. Having kicked the last one in there.
Ruan Pienaar suddenly bursting at the seams to get on with this. decision to be made by Paddy Jackson, and I think the decision is the corner again. And Jackson does his job, and Ulster now have another 5-metre line out. Remember, there's only a try between them. Win still very much in the Scarlets' favour. Good take by Franco van der Merwe. That was interfered with in the air. That's going to stop the Ulster drive. Scarlets have managed that one very cleverly. And not only that, but they turned it over. How did they do that?
I think a sloppy lineup by Ulster. Lifters didn't let the jumper down and he fell backwards. Got stripped of the ball, I think. Probably more to do with Ulster sloppiness than Connetly anything special. But again, Connetly, once they got the half chance, took the ball. Sloppy lifting. And the jumper falls on the wrong side. And Connetly stripped the ball. There you go. On the ground.
Well, that was unfortunate for Ulster, but they've got the ball in possession, although they're 15 metres further away from the line. Well taken by Brown. Here goes Henry. Good tackling first up by the Scarlets, and Ulster released the ball. Did it go forward? It's managed to go backward. Kyle McCall at scrum half. Peter Brown gets across the opposition 22. Pienaar to Jackson. Luke Marshall bounces off Alan Thomas. Pienaar again. Jackson. Stuart Olding. Scarlets' defence being as resilient as ever. Kyle McCall needs a bit of help. Scarlets have turned him around the wrong way. Pienaar has to go in and act as a flanker, which he doesn't like doing, and also get the penalty. Now there's plenty of time, Eddie. There's about 17 minutes remaining. It's very kickable. Should they go for the 3?
I think so, yeah. Take the points here. You know, they've had a couple of visits already and they haven't turned it into anything, and they need to take something on the scoreboard here. You know, what they don't want to do, Jim, is to get into the end game here and have to score a try to win the game. That makes it's much more difficult to pull back a try, because the defence can be very aggressive. Get to one score here, one more penalty, and Connetly have to be a lot more careful at the breakdown. So I think it's a smart thing to do is take the points. One score game or one kick game at the end of the day.
Ian Davis has had a word with the Scarlet skipper Hadley Parks about his men committing penalties. Jackson to close the gap to a single point. And he does just that. So we have about 16 and a half minutes remaining. It's now Ulster 20 and the Connetly Scarlets 21.
Most importantly here now, Jim, is momentum is with Ulster. They've got to get out of their own half here and not muck around. Good restart, good clearance, and a good kick chase if they don't find touch.
Scarlets, I think, have made another replacement. They brought on international tight head prop Rodri Jones. That's long. Gathered in by Gilroy to Wilson. Makes a bit of ground.
Yellow, get away!
Pienaar, Jackson, Olding. That's just hung up in the air very nicely. Stephen Evans has to take it in. In fact, it's Dan Jones. Rodri Williams. Scarlets have brought on quite a few replacements. Rory Pittman gets up to the halfway line. Williams again. Peter Brown stays out of the way. Here's Hadley Parks, the Scarlet skipper, who's had a great game this afternoon. Williams. In fact, it's Ryan Elias, the hooker, who's come on, and not the replacement prop. In the meantime, here come the Scarlets. Regan King gets it away. Stockdale hangs on, but he hasn't made the tackle count, and Stuart Olding has to come in from full back and also get the penalty. Good work by Sammy Arnold as well.
Great turnover by Arnold at a key moment, and Pienaar gets on with it straight away, keeping the pressure on Connetly. Smart play.
What a kick by Pienaar. And old Sparky trying to lift the crowd a little bit.
But again, a great tackle there by Jacob Stockdale. You know, really stopped the momentum, and then winning the turnover. it's advantage Ulster here. And you got to think that Clonetty will be in the field or going to creak a little bit here, Jim.
Well, a score of any kind will do Ulster. The victory, remember, without the bonus point would not take them back to the top of the table, which is the preserve of Connacht at the moment. Peter Brown gets it away. Pienaar, what a pass. Sammy Arnold. Off to Munster next season. Pienaar again. Luke Marshall. All the pressure coming from the men in white. Pienaar, flat to Peter Brown. Clonetty still making the tackles, but they're on the back foot. Roger Wilson. Pienaar. John Murphy, the replacement hooker. Pienaar. Jackson. Well marshalled by the Scarlets defence. Ulster have to protect the ball at all costs, not give it away. Peter Brown could do with a bit of help, gets it from McCall and from Murphy. Pienaar, flat to Van der Merwe. Stockdale out here on his own. Ulster trying to conjure something up. Now Pienaar, Marshall has a go himself. Very close. Pienaar, head down, bundled into touch. Great defence from the men in red and yellow.
You've got to give credit to Clonetty again. They're digging in here. They're not getting up anything soft. But Ulster are okay. They were patient, very patient. It's a turnover, but Clonetty are not going to get too far out here. It'll be advantage Ulster again after this. Pienaar looks a bit shook after the tackle. Hopefully he'll be able to continue.
Yeah, I think he got rolled over. Franco van der Merwe dipped the shoulder nicely and set it up, and good clearance there by good work by Luke Marshall. Pienaar in there quickly, had a real go himself and was just bundled into touch, but he's fine. Scarlets line out, well taken at the front. Now can they set it up? This is Pittman, also have to make the tackle. Well done by Murphy. And the Scarlets have executed that, what they call these days, exit strategy pretty well.
Pretty much one to plan, but it's still advantage Ulster, Jim. 30 metres out, Ulster line out, and they've got momentum at the moment. It's about being patient here now. If they can hold on to the ball, run hard lines, and you know, good continuity, they will get a shot here, and they've just got to keep their composure.
Instruction from Kyle McCall to his hooker John Murphy. Pienaar, nicely taken. Sammy Arnold, well set up by the young replacement. Good pass by Pienaar. Here comes Stockdale, another teenager. Nice burst. Play on, says the referee. Chris Henry back from his 10 minutes in the bin. Pienaar. Peter Brown almost through the gap. This is good stuff by Ulster. Franco van der Merwe takes it on. Pienaar again to nobody in particular. Back goes Gilroy. Collins goes right over, and they'll come back, I think, maybe for a little infringement. So all the pressure coming from Ulster, with advantage in terms of the scoreboard still with the Scarlets, Eddie.
Yeah, it's knocked on by the Scarlets. They're not sure where that came about with Ulster in possession. Ball must have come loose, but still advantage Ulster. Again, there was good pressure, Jim. You know, almost made the breakthrough, putting the Clonetty defence under huge pressure, and just keep the ball, keep the composure, keep working, and the dam will burst. They just got to keep backing themselves. But these silly mistakes that maybe let Clonetty out of jail, they're psychologically huge at this point of the game.
Well, we have just about 11 minutes remaining. Les Kiss and Neil Doak will be getting a little bit anxious, not quite antsy, but certainly anxious. But it is an Ulster scrummage, and it's in a pretty good position. Craig Gilroy has come in off the right wing, standing directly behind that scrum. Sam Arnold playing in the inside centre position. Luke Marshall has moved out to the outside centre position. Crucial scrum, this one. Big squeeze by the Scarlets, but well picked up by Roger Wilson. Now, did it go backward? It did go backward. Oh, and away come the Scarlets yet again, and Ulster's first up tackling has not been good this afternoon. Great chance now. Rodri Williams decides to leave it, and the referee will come back for the advantage to the Scarlets, even though they kicked it away. He said there was no advantage. Well, that was a huge Scarlet scrum, Eddie, when Ulster's, rather inexperienced front row just crumbled.
Well, I think Clonethley caught them cold there. There's been no problem in the scrum up to now, but he just caught them cold. Maybe Ulster were thinking of the attack rather than winning the scrum first. And it can happen at times, and they certainly got Ulster on the back foot. But no, they come back for the scrum. If Clonethley don't lock it down, or if Ulster don't lock it down here, Clonethley will try and milk the penalty with even better exit for them. But it'll be interesting to see if Clonethley run from here, because they've been prepared to run before, but with the game coming into the last 10 minutes and one score in it, they'll probably likely kick it downfield and back to defence.
Rodri Williams to feed the scrum. Better scrum by Ulster, but Scarlets have secured good control of the back. Williams to Thomas, who's kicked well, and that's a good touch, and Ulster have to do it all again into the final 10 minutes, and 1 point between them.
Well, that's it, Jim. Once you get into the final 10 minutes, it does start getting a bit tight, but I think it's still right about Ulster taking that penalty, because we're into the last 10 minutes here, and they needed to score a try. It would have been a much bigger hill to climb. I think it's still there for Ulster. Just got to hold on to the ball and back themselves.
Clive Ross has come on for Ulster, and Franco van der Merwe is leaving the field, and you would have thought with a crucial line-out that you would have kept your best line-out forward on the park, but it means that the scrummy Robbie Dyack will have to go up into the second row. So Ulster's line-out option perhaps a wee bit reduced. Murphy throws, good take though by Peter Brown at the back. A penalty would even do Ulster, and they're squeezing forward now, trying to coax something out of the referee. This is good play by Ulster. A little bit of bad temperedness there from Morgan Allen. Ulster still moving forward. Ewan Pienaar with ball in hand. That's Gilroy. Jackson. Luke Marshall does really well. Ulster still in possession. They've conceded a few metres, mind you. Here goes Murphy, who's had a pretty impressive debut. Pienaar. Gilroy at outside half. Peter Brown walloped by Paulino. Again, Ulster conceding a distance. Good kick by Ruan Pienaar. That's a nasty one. Good defence by Ulster, and they've got themselves the line out just outside the 22. So it's still there for the men in white, Eddie.
Absolutely, the pressure's building. But again, I'm not sure about that kick, Jim. You know, it was a speculative kick over the top, and
time off.
Had they not brought the pressure for the kick, that kick could have gone back 60 metres with the wind. So I think from psychologically here, you know, if Clonethley feel if they can hang on for another few minutes, then maybe they can sneak this game. So Ulster into just good field position here. The maul worked really well the last time. I don't know if the referee made them play it away, but I'd like to have seen Ulster make a little more of that maul, because when we went wide, there were no real dividends for us. We hadn't collapsed the defence enough. I'm sure Ulster will be looking at another maul here again, unless they've got some power play up their sleeves, which you see them use earlier in the year, maybe going for the try. But Clonethley here again under the pump, but you've got to give them credit, Clonethley. They're not giving up.
Well, 7.5 minutes remaining. Stolen by the Scarlets. How significant is that going to be? Hadley Park does absolutely the right thing and gives it the most almighty of wallops. Back goes Jacob Stockdale. Miscue. And he's hurt himself doing that, the young fella.
Well, Jim, again, you know, trying to the tail of the line out on a windy day inside the old team's 22. Sometimes you don't know the options to give you are difficult, but I think Ulster need to just win a flat ball at 2 there, or something in the middle and driven. And just an ambitious throw and turnover and massive pressure off of Clonethley. And Clonethley, but the throw in now to boot as well.
And they're not in any hurry. Ian Davis is telling them to hurry up. Have they taken a man under the line? I don't think they have. The replacement hooker throws. Paulino makes it safe. Down comes Bronson Ross. Referee happy with that. I thought for a moment he was going to penalise the Ulster replacement. Ulster still scrabbling for everything at the breakdown. They've made about 10 metres, but the Scarlet is still in possession. Pittman makes good ground, tackled by Ross. Bronson. Williams gets it away. That's knocked forward. There's a wee chance here if they can shift this. Good work by Gilroy. Ulster up to the 10-metre line now. Pienaar, Jackson. Flat to Bronson Ross. Well released. Jackson again. Sam Arnold does well. Clonethley were up very quickly. Ruan Pienaar. Well taken by Clive Ross from a poorish pass from the Springbok. Still there for Ulster. Paddy Jackson. That's forward. Well, you wonder, was it worth the risk?
No, because it was almost picked off for interception. That would have been that. But forward pass, no doubt about it, Jim. Right in line with us. From the time it left his hand, you called it. Again, it's Ulster probably getting a bit tense here, Jim, trying to force things a little bit when they don't need to. They need to get guys like Gilroy into the game, give him the ball. He's making some good inroads. But again, just a lack of patience. They just need one good field position here, Jim, and they can win the game.
Well, into the final 5 minutes, and it's looking pretty good for the Scarlets. He would climb up the table ahead of Ulster. Scarlets not in any great rush. They've split their forces at this scrummage. 2 on the near side, their right, and 2 on the far side, their left. That is a good scrum, controlled by Morgan Allen. Rodri Williams, little chip in behind Ulster. Touch judge is not quite certain what's going on. It's hit the corner flag. And that should be a 22 dropout.
I think it's a 22 dropout,
yes.
But does he not know the laws? He must do.
He's given the line out.
Oh, he's given the line out to Ulster. Well,
that hit the flag, Jim. That's a 22 dropout under the law, as far as I'm aware, unless they've changed the law. But
absolutely.
Not the best position for Ulster to be in, 5 metres from their goal line.
No. I think it's going to be a disappointing afternoon for Ulster unless they can conjure up something pretty special here. Robbie Dack gets it away. Pienaar to Roger Wilson, who's battled away. And this is the occasion of his 200th cap. Clive Ross, fresh legs. Ulster still too close for comfort to their own line. And Jackson's going to have to kick. And he's kicked as far as Van der Merwe. And here come the Scarlets again. All they have to do is keep the ball for another 3 minutes. Paulino gets across that gain line. Rodri Williams pops it up yet again. Ryan Elias, the replacement hooker. Hadley Parks, the Scarlet skipper, who's marshalled his troops quite splendidly this afternoon.
Ball's there under yellow.
Taken on yet again by Rory Pittman. Big replacement back row forward. Paulino even bigger. Steps inside Dyack. Well, the Scarlets playing a very sensible game, and it's Elias again takes it up to the Ulster 22. Rodri Williams gets it away. Rory Pittman makes a bit of ground again. Ulster simply can't get their hands on the ball. They've made far too many errors in this game, and it's cost them. And how costly it will be in the final analysis once the regular league season's over, we'll have to wait and see. Here come the Scarlets. Dylan Evans, replacement loosehead prop. Williams has a little go on the narrow side. Stockdale went for the interception. Oh, that's harsh. Well, he's adjudged Jacob Stockdale, I think, to have deliberately knocked that forward, or perhaps he was offside. I'd like to have another look at that, Eddie. What do you think?
I think he's called him for the no, he wasn't offside, but I think it's a very harsh call.
Oh, that's a dreadful call.
A very harsh call, but as you said earlier in the game, referees are tending to this penalty now once the pass is blocked down.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not looking at the intent here.
I don't think it even hit Jacob Stockdale's hands.
No, I don't think so. I think he didn't even know where the ball was. I think he was sighting the ball.
Well, this is another look at it in very slow time. There's the pass.
I think he came in.
It hit his hand,
but it went up in the air.
How could you judge that was deliberate? Well, it doesn't really matter. We have just over a minute remaining, and it's going to be, I'm An awful feeling, a home defeat for Ulster. Perhaps in the final analysis deservedly so. They very nearly stole it, they have stolen it. And Ian Davis was saying it was knocked forward. He's not playing any advantage to Ulster.
There's got to be a second knock-on there, but he didn't signal it. I mean, it was definitely a knock-on by Connettley. Ulster had possession unless there was a second knock-on.
Well, that was a knock back. There was a knock forward. Well, he said the first knock-on was by yellow, the second by white. Well, this is the last set piece of this game. Ulster will have to go the length of the field and score to win this game. And if they can't do that, it's going to be a very disappointing afternoon here with a very decent crowd, some of whom have actually just drifted away, realizing that this might be a home defeat, and you really, if you title aspirations, you should not be losing games at home. That's a big squeeze from the makeshift Clonethley scrum. Roger Wilson sets it up. Pienaar, what can Ulster do from here? They're going to have to run this. Chris Henry puts his head down. Pienaar gets it away to Clive Ross.
Yellow release.
They've about 100 metres to go. Luke Marshall has certainly done his best this afternoon. Back from international duty. Pienaar away to Wilson.
Get away.
He certainly hasn't spared that battered body of his. Pienaar now again. Clive Ross. Ulster must just keep possession and try to move this. Paddy Jackson. Stuart Olding spills it backwards, spills it forward. Play on, says the referee. And all the Scarlets have to do is get it into touch. And they've won this game. And Ulster's title hopes will receive a huge dent. And Gilroy tries to keep it in. If anybody can do it, it's Gilroy, but he hasn't made it. And Craig Gilroy lands in the mud. Perhaps somewhat symbolic of just the way this game has gone for Ulster.
Yeah, disappointing, Jim. Hugely disappointing, because you felt in the second half the defence was better for the most part, and they did have those chances. They were in the Clonettley 22. They had 3 or 4 good field positions, but always conspired to turn the ball over. And you got to give Clonettley credit as well, Jim. Defended really well and played really great rugby throughout the game.
Well, it was a pretty poor second half. 4 tries in the second half, 2 apiece. The second half was all down to kicks. Just one by Paddy Jackson and 2 by Alan Thomas, the Clonethley Scarlets outside half. And on balance, I would have to admit that I think the Scarlets deserve to win that game.
Yeah, on the balance of it, you know, I mean, I think that the frustrating thing for Ulster is that they bounced back in the first half when they made those mistakes, and every time Clonethley scored, Ulster bounced back. They went into the lead at half time, and then you felt in the second half they set themselves up to win the game, but they just couldn't close out the deal. And Clonettley, you got to give credit for their defence, you got to give credit for their ball carrying and their precision at the breakdown. But I think a disappointing result for Ulster when you consider that it was in their remit to win this one.
Well, if my sums are right, it means that Ulster drop outside the top 4. They have an away trip to Cardiff, but they will reflect on opportunities missed, particularly tackles missed in the first half. And they've lost this game. The final score at Kingspan is Ulster 20 and the Clonethley Scarlets 21.
Well, Stephen Ferris and Maurice Field have been with me watching what has turned out to be a disappointing afternoon for Ulster.
Disappointing, I think, with the possession that we had in the second half. I thought we were going to close that game out. You said at half-time about the game tightening up, and it did really tighten up there. But you know, Morris, you really do expect the lads to take maybe a couple of kicks at goal and you know, keep the scoreboard ticking. They went to the corner with 14 men against, you know, they had no joy whatsoever with them all the whole way throughout the match, except they went to the corner. They backed themselves, and you know, they backed themselves the whole way throughout the match. But you know, they've done that the last few weeks, and they've got away with it. Didn't get away with it this week.
Is it a case, Morris, you can only get away with playing a lot more disappointing manner that you would want to? You can only do that for so long, and then it will catch up with you.
I believe so. I mean, they've been getting away with disappointing performances since Christmas. They've been inaccurate in defence. They've been inaccurate in their attack. And Les Kiss has come out and said that we need to be more clinical when we get in. I think Ulster showed a certain amount of lack of composure every time there this afternoon. Every time they got within 5-10 metres of the Scarlets line, they failed to come away with the correct points. A wee bit possibly inexperienced from Paddy's decision making as captain 2 kickable penalties there. When you're down to 14 men, you build pressure. Paddy had turned down 2 3-point opportunities, and you don't see the All Blacks doing that. That is 6 points that have gone a begging, which could have been the difference between winning and losing this game.
Okay, man of the match was Regan King. Let's hear from him. He's with Gavin Andrews.
Regan, congratulations. I'll say congratulations, teammates. What was key to that win today?
I think we put a lot of effort into our defence. We're wary of the Ulster threat. They like to play an expansive game, and it's not an easy place to come. So, at the end of the day, the least points you can limit to, the more of a chance you're going to give yourself. So that's what we concentrated on.
You've been coming here for years. How tough a place is it to get a win?
Oh mate, it's special. There's new stadium and stuff. It's a brilliant place to come, and there's a lot of guys that probably haven't played in our team here before, and we just said enjoy the challenge, be as aggressive as possible, and anything can happen.
What does this do for